Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the Man Cave. It's Thursday night once again, and we have Brother Jeff with us, and we have a special guest, Mr. Russ Jones from Smoky Ribs Barbecue over on YouTube. I'm going to run a little link banner down here across the bottom of the screen. It's got Russ's YouTube channel. Russ, welcome to the Man Cave.
Thank you, John. Glad to be here.
Man, I was telling Jeff earlier that you were one of the people I met early on in my career of making videos on YouTube. You and Greg
Oh
and
yeah.
and Troy, and I had Troy on a while back, and that was a lot of fun, of course. But uh, introduce yourself. Tell everybody who you are, where you are, and what you do. Russ is having a little bit of technical difficulty tonight. Let's see what's going on.
Hang on. I'm gonna log on with my phone.
Okay, we'll wait on you. Okay, I'm gonna. Russ is having a connectivity problem. They're having some storms where he is, so we'll wait for Russ to come back. And as we do, we start off with a drink, and I'm tapping into the Eagle Rare tonight. Uh, Jeff, what are you having?
Chattanooga 91.
There we go. Tanya, you drinking with us
Choo
tonight?
choo.
I'm being boring tonight and just having water.
Mm, that's no good. That'll never do. This is the first glass of Eagle Rare I've had in a while, and I missed it. I miss that flavor. Eagle Rare's got one of the
I'm having water too, mixed with a little
mixed with a little bourbon.
grains.
Russ, we got another Russ with us. Golf griller, excellent. So let me get back over there to the comment tab where I can see what's going on while we wait for Russ Jones to come back. Peter's in Reno. Ryan's having some Eagle Rare. This bottle of Eagle Rare right here was compliment to Mr. Ryan Lowry. I'm still working on this, and I haven't gotten too far down into your bottle yet, Ryan. But that's it. That's the one. Anthony, glad you could join us. Russ is with us, but he's switching his devices, so he's having a little bit of connectivity issue. Okay, here he comes. Let's bring Russ back in. Russ is back with us.
Maybe this will work a little bit better.
Okay, so Tanya, I'm going to bring you back a little bit later. Tanya, as you know, guys, Tanya runs everything in the background while we do this. So anyway, we were going to have Russ introduce himself. Russ, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Russ Jones. I have Smoky Ribs Barbecue YouTube channel. I've been on that channel or having that channel for over a decade. I rolled over 10 years, July the 12th of this summer. 10 years. I live in Biloxi, Mississippi, originally from Pascagoula, Mississippi. And just a Mississippi boy still hanging here. I'm 63 years old.
And
What
Russ,
else you want to know?
I think I didn't realize this till you mentioned it the other day when we were talking that you're retired now.
Yeah.
Tell everybody what you did before you retired.
I was for the many years, I was a pipe welder at Huntington Ingalls Shipbuilding there in Pascagoula, Mississippi. And for the last 9 years of employment, I was a pipe welding foreman. And I spent the last 4 years of them 9 years in the pipe shop, the fabrication shop. So
in the shipyard.
In the shipyard, yeah.
Yeah. So you get to experience some fierce weather down there on the Gulf Coast occasionally, right?
Oh yeah, big time.
This season's been knock on wood, it's been calm so far. Jeff's down in Florida. Jeff's down in Orlando, so he's familiar with that kind of weather also.
Oh, okay.
So
John, if you put the whammy on us.
I don't get much, but when hurricanes come up the coast, even when they have landfall in northern Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina, I don't get a whole lot off of it most of the time because I'm 300 plus miles inland, and we'll get some heavy rain sometimes. And one time, this hurricane called Hurricane Hugo came blazing up through here and did a lot of damage. It still had hurricane force winds when it passed over my town. So, but like I said, it's rare. Alan, glad you could make it with us. Russ, what I wanted to I went over to your YouTube channel this week, and I did some still pictures of some stuff I thought we could talk about. So,
All right.
one of the things I wanted to hit on first of all is some of the equipment that you cook on, and one of the most recent ones I saw was this guy. Is this a
Yeah.
Lone Star product?
No, that is a Pits and Spits flat top grill. Matter of fact, that's what I'm using tomorrow.
This is relatively new in your stable, isn't it?
Yeah, very new this summer. I've only done 2 videos on it so far. I've got a video to shoot for mid month. I'll actually be shooting that tomorrow. Then they want another video out between now and the end of the year. So I know
Right.
I've got two more videos to do on that between now and the first of the year.
Okay, so what I see here is a charcoal grill with a grate that is probably adjustable up and down in there, right?
It is just right where my hand is, right there on the side. You can
Mhm.
reach that bar. You can see the bar actually at the bottom. You reach at and you pull up on it. It's got notches
Right.
every, spaced out, and it'll go from that position, which is about 15 inches down, all the way up to right up under the grate if you want to like sear steaks or whatever.
So based on the size of this thing, it looks like you could build a small fire on one side of it and still smoke on the other side, right?
That's exactly what they were wanting for tomorrow. I'm doing a chuck roast. Going to be
Uh-huh.
doing pulled beef barbecue sandwiches, and they want to show how to do a low and slow. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. On the right hand side, I'm going to build a small fire,
Yeah.
put the meat opposite side, and then
Mhm.
I'll adjust the temperature from there, as far as up, down, vents, and whatnot.
How big is the cooking surface on that thing? Is that about 3 feet wide?
That thing is 3 foot long, 2 foot wide, so it's a
Uh-huh.
little under that. I guess that's giving up 2 inches all the way around.
Right. And it's got enough dome clearance that you can put a butt in there or a turkey with no problem, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah.
got a good, maybe not as
And
well. You could do a turkey. If you laid it on its side, you probably could do that. Yeah.
yeah. And I see a gas line there. Is it gas assisted to light the charcoal, or does it have a
hmm
gas option for the fuel?
It's a gas assist as far they call it a log lighter.
Right.
Which you could burn wood, lump charcoal, or charcoal briquettes in that, and it works good. It don't just blow out a big hard blue flame. I was worried about that, but it's choked back. They have it choked back to where it's just a good soft flame that'll get charcoal going.
Right.
Without really.
It looks
But
like everything else that Pits and Spits does. It's built like a tank.
yeah, it's built really well. It's it's what I think it's 12 gauge. Yeah, 12 gauge. I mean, my Lone Star grills, pits, and all, they're obviously heavier than that, but still, that is plenty heavy. Matter of fact, my son was wanting to bring it over here, and he said, "Can we load it up in the back of the pickup truck?" I'm like, "No, it's too heavy for that."
He said, no.
No,
Yeah, it looks heavy. That's probably, I'm looking at 400 pounds there, probably, right?
probably so. Yeah.
Yeah. But it looks like it's got some 6 inch or better casters that are pneumatic on the bottom of it. So it doesn't look like it's too hard to roll around.
Yeah, those are 8 inch actually,
Hey,
and
okay.
it rolls real good on the grass. Had no
Yeah.
problem.
Well, that looks like some pretty serious kit there. So what
Oh
else
yeah,
did I find? Like I said, I just scoured stuff off of your YouTube channel. This
yeah.
is this is something I specifically wanted to talk about. Tell us about this guy.
All right, that is the Lone Star Grill's pellet smoker, and that thing is a beast. Let me tell you, I've owned a few pellet grills in the past, and never was real happy with any of them as far as the amount of smoke that it can put on meat.
Hmm.
Man, I tell you what, it's hard to tell the difference between that and my offset. It's that close. I actually have a video where I did a comparison. I had like blind taste testers and everything. The all said ultimately won out, but I'll tell you what, it wasn't by much. You know, it was so close. Not even worth talking
And
about, really.
just from looking here, it looks like this guy's got a fireboard control system on it.
It does.
Yeah.
Everything on that pit is 100% USA except for, and I learned this the hard way. Somebody called me out on YouTube because I'm like, every bolt, nut, screw, and everything on this pit is 100% USA made, you know.
Mhm.
Well, the tires are not. Those tires do, in fact, come from overseas.
Oh, well. Russ,
Yeah.
let me tell you something. You've been in the YouTube business longer than I have, so you've been around long enough to know that anytime you make a claim, there's going to be somebody out there that's going to try to debunk you.
Oh, yeah. He did, too. I couldn't say nothing. First thing I did was went to Google and like, well, I'll be darned. It sure is, you know.
Yeah, it's man, it's really hard to find anything that's totally made in the USA, and it's just the way it is. It's but pellet grills specifically, I'm glad you said the things you just said about pellet grills because this is something that Jeff and I have done a deep dive into pellet grill cooking lately. Both of us are cooking on one of the Myron Mixon smokers, and we've learned some techniques that have proven to be I don't I can't think of another word, Jeff, to use than sublime when it comes to
Yep.
barbecue. I've smoked some pork butts and some briskets on these pellet smokers, and I would not be able to tell that it wasn't cooked on something. I would be able to tell it from an offset because an offset does produce a unique flavor. You and I both know that. But
Oh, yeah.
compared to Kamado or any other kind of smoker, I'm getting fantastic smoke from the technique that we're using on our pellet grills.
Yeah, there's some good ones out there. The problem is the market is flooded with what I want to call not so good, you know.
Yeah.
But they're being forced to step up their game as far as the amount of smoke that they deliver.
Yeah.
So that part is improving across the board, but they still
Well,
can't touch that one.
So Russ, what temperature do you like on running yours at to get the best smoke flavor?
I'll tell you what, and this is a fact. A good buddy of mine's got one just like it. It don't matter if you're at 200 degrees, 180, 200, or 350. This thing is constantly smoking. I've had it up to 350, and that thing's just barreling smoke out of it. I'm like, my goodness, you know, it's almost to the point you think it would be too much, but it's not, you know.
the
But
Mixon's kind of the same way.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
But Jeff and I have discovered we like the process of doing even with briskets or butts. I haven't tried ribs on mine yet, but I will. Well, I have, but I haven't tried a really the different technique. But we're cooking, throwing butts or briskets on. Or what I'm doing is going for 12 hours at 200 degrees, and then
okay.
I foil and ramp the temp up and finish it off till it's where it needs to be tenderness wise. But one of the things I've also discovered is I've gone against what I liked. I was using my favorite pellets that I used to use were the B&B. I think they called it a competition blend. It was pecan, oak, and cherry. And I use that because I really like the aroma on it. But with pellet grills, I have gone back to hickory. And the more intense smoke flavor that you get from hickory is really making the difference for me on the
It
pellet.
is.
What
I
kind
agree.
of pellets are you using?
That's all I use. I normally buy the B&B hickory. And
Hmm.
I have done a hickory pecan mix on them, but for the most part, it's straight up hickory, you know.
Yep. But that looks like an incredible grill. It's got couple of expanded metal grates in there,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah,
looks
that
like
thing
it's
is
got
a
a lot of
beast.
room.
It's got a 40-pound hopper on it, which is, you don't see many of them like that. And I love the fact that it's so tall because them pellets are coming straight down. There's nothing gonna hang these pellets up. It's
Right.
got a what do they call that, open center auger, which pretty much eliminates any kind of auger jam.
Right.
And it's a real short auger too. That thing's only like 8 inches at the most.
Where's the fire
And
pump in that grill?
it's just the other side of that hopper on the
So
right
it's on the
hand
left
side.
hand. It's on the left hand side or the
It's
right
on the
hand
right,
side.
yeah, on the
Okay,
right hand side. And then
nice.
the stack is on the opposite end, as you can see, on the left
Is
hand
the
side.
is the exhaust port low in the body? I
Uh,
can't tell.
yeah, it's center of it. It's center of like
Okay,
somewhere between those two grates right there.
okay. So that's gonna, especially if you're cooking on the top rack, that's gonna keep a good layer of smoke in there. That thing looks crazy. Pits and Spits, if I understand correctly, Jeff, does Pits and Spits build the mixing smoker as well?
I don't believe so.
No, maybe not. Or
It's
maybe,
it's a
or
company
maybe
up in Connecticut.
maybe it's the electronics that are in the mixing are the same as what used to be on the Pits and Spits or something.
That,
There's some
that's
relationship
correct.
between those
That's
two.
correct. They both use the I want to say Alexandria, but that's not it.
I'm hoping that the mixing upgrades to the fireboard technology because
So do I.
really love to have that. Okay,
That, like I
Oh,
say, that's my big complaint with the mixing is you only have one meat port. I mean, you got
yeah.
all that real estate there and only the availability for one meat probe.
So Russ, is that a something you cook on frequently?
oh yeah, pretty much. Especially in the summer months when it's so hot, you don't feel like
Yeah.
tending anything else. Just turn that bad boy on, and let her rip. Matter of fact, I'll probably be cooking on that next week. Now that's my offset right there.
And this is Lone Star, right?
Yeah, both of those are Lone Star, the pellet
Right.
grill and that.
And I got this one out for a particular reason. I want to talk about the barbacoa because that's something I've never done before.
That was my one and only.
Where did you get that?
There is a place right down the road here called Alabama Custom Meats, and my son Derek went in there not long ago, and he's seen them, and they held one for him. I said, "Go in there and get it." I sent him the money, and I thought that I said that can either do really good or really bad. It did really bad, but oh well, I've got it on there.
How much did that weigh?
That thing weighed in, I want to say between 40 and 50 pounds. It felt like just holding it, even after it had rendered some around 45 pounds, if I had to guess. I never looked at the total weight on it. I don't
So
even know if it had,
how much meat do you get off of it?
well, you got your cheeks. I'm not going to do the brains or the eyes or any of that, but between the cheek meat and the tongue, that's
Hmm.
basically all you meat. You got other little scabs of meat here and there. There's a lot of waste on that. But
Hmm.
you know how I'm a firm believer that things just taste better off the bone. But
Yeah.
you'd probably be better off just getting beef cheeks and just cooking them, which I've done also, and I've done beef tongue as a standalone video before. But this was a little unique. But you end up with a fair amount. You can see it on the video. It was a little stainless steel. Uh, I want to say bowl, but it's rectangle, like a what do they call them, steaming
Like a hotel
pan or
Oh,
pan.
whatever. Yeah,
I
and
didn't say, I might have that picture somewhere else. I don't remember if I took that
it,
or not.
well, it's not a picture; it was actually in the video itself. But
Right.
at any rate, it was a fair amount. I would do it again. It definitely tastes good, man.
I've not been able to get beef cheeks, but I bought pork cheeks. North Carolina is a big hog producing state, and I can go down to Heritage Farms and get the Cheshire pork cheeks in 10-pound bags. And I've done that several times, but I haven't been able to source beef cheeks yet. I've talked to the guys over at Porter Road. Now, I don't know if do you know if Porter Road's, I noticed you were doing some Porter Road cooks. Do they have beef cheeks in their lineup yet?
I don't think I've seen any through them. I got some from somebody a couple of years ago. I'm trying to remember who it was, and then man, they had them nice and clean too. They had all that fat and all that mess
Yeah.
shaved off of there, and you was left with a lot of good meat. Who was that? I can't remember. Somebody I was going through at that time. I don't know if anybody would handle it. I would think Porter Road would, because they handle a lot of offcuts,
And
which
yeah,
you
well,
know that.
they like to do the zero waste thing, and that's one of the reasons. If they sent you some of their beef sticks, their jerky sticks,
Yeah. Oh,
that's one
have
of
they? No,
have
they
they
haven't. No.
those things
I,
are those things. That's one of the things they're making out of leftover meat to try to make it zero waste, and those things are
okay.
really good if you ever get a chance to try those. This next smoker, uh, I couldn't. I looked at your videos on this, and I couldn't find a video that showed the whole thing, so I went to the website.
Hmm.
Uh, Tell us about this one.
That is what Lone Star Grills calls an insulated mini. And I don't know why they call it a mini. The thing's almost as tall as I am. And it's just an insulated type cabinet smoker. It's well
Yep.
insulated. I mean, it's got like, I don't know, 2.5 inches of military grade insulation between two walls. And the bottom hatch down there at the bottom, that's where your charcoal basket and all that is, where you actually
Right.
light it. It's got a water pan if you want to use it as a water smoker.
Mhm.
You can also get an optional heat deflector. That thing works great. You can dial that thing in just as good as a Kamado. You
Right.
dial it in and it will hold.
I'm looking over here on this very left edge at this little protrusion here. Is that a port for a fan
Oh, over
over
there on
here?
that side? Well, you got two of them. One of them is your air intake. It's a valve,
Right.
and you adjust that ball valve to let
Mhm.
less or more air in. And then there's another one that where you drain the water, like
Right.
in your water pan. Now I adapted mine to where I could put an air controller on that
Right.
vent port, that big one. That's 2-inch ball valve, and
Okay.
I got all the adapters and everything to where I could run a air controller. And I really didn't need it, but I just did it for a video,
Right.
'cause I'm telling you, it's just like a Kamado. Once you dial it in, it's there. You're good.
Yeah, that thing looks crazy. And I know it's got a lot of capacity. Jeff and I have been drooling over a gravity feed version of one of these. And
Yeah,
Big
that's
time.
what I
so,
that's what I'm wanting. I would like to have a real gravity fed, not the master built.
yeah.
Who is it? Stumps that makes that one that are used in competitions a lot.
Yeah.
I like the looks of that.
I picked this one out because I picked up a new drum today, or a new used drum today, that I'm going to make myself another UDS. And I've seen these guys. Tell us about this one.
That is a gateway that I purchased about 3 years ago, and it's over
Hmm.
here. It's right outside this back door. It still looks that good too. And that's a smart fire controller that this company, man, they reached out to me right when I bought that. I said, boy, this is good timing. So they
Yeah.
sent me a controller for it, and I did a few videos using that controller. But I like drum smoking. I really do. I've had nothing but good results with that one. I just don't do many of them, but I need to do that. I
Right.
really do. I forget about it a lot of times. I'm so busy firing up these other ones.
Well, when I first got into smoking, I had a Weber Smoky Mountain 18 inch, and at the time I didn't want to spend the money to get the 22 inch I was hanging out over there on that Barbecue Brethren forum, and
Hmm.
everybody over there was building UDSs. And I decided, well, I'm going to get into that. I'm going to see if I can build one. And I did. And I loved cooking on it. And
Yeah.
since then, I've built two more and ended up giving both of them away. And here I am finding myself now wanting another one. So I
You
spent,
can, yeah. I was gonna say you can save a lot of money building them
yeah,
yourself. That's a gateway right there. What you see now, I did buy both grates. It'd take a upper and lower grate. I bought the hanger for ribs. It's probably not in it in this picture here. I
mhm,
bought every accessory that you can buy for it, and that they're pretty expensive. I mean, this is way before everything started going through the roof, and I've got $1,100 in that smoker 3 years ago. Or
yeah.
yeah, it's been at least 3 years.
Well, the first one I built, I kept the tab on how much I spent, and I spent nearly $400, but I had to buy some tools.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have all the tools I needed, and I had to buy a 4 by 8 foot piece of expanded metal to make my charcoal basket with, because I couldn't find it in any smaller quantity, and I had it cut down, and got the piece I needed, and I gave the rest of that away. But when I got it up and running, it was great. The second one I built, I had less than $100 in it, and
Okay.
the third one I built was about the same way. And this one I'm getting ready to build, I'm hoping to have less than 100 in it, because I saved the fire basket out of the last one I had to use, because I knew I would end up building another one. So when you're buying pieces to build one of these things, the fire basket tends to be the most expensive piece. And
Yeah.
I've got a really nice fire basket that'll go in this new one. But this barrel I got today, I got it from a local guy at a foam shop, and it had glue in it, and it still got some glue in it. And I'm going to have to sort out getting that glue cleaned out before I can proceed to fabricating this. But I'm going to do I've got a really fun paint job idea that I'm going to do on this smoker, and it's going to be something to behold. I'm looking forward to breaking that out, but it's probably going to be the spring till I finish that project. We'll see. But
Yeah.
drum smokers, one of the things I love about drum smokers one of the things I learned about cooking on these things is you don't really need a heat deflector if you're cooking up near the top of the drum. And I usually, when I build mine, I put one grill grate about 6 inches deep. And then I put another one about 12 inches deep where I can have a second one if I need it. But from 6 inches from the top, you've got a couple of feet between your grill and your low and slow fire, and you don't have to have a heat deflector. You can cook without a heat deflector with that much distance, and you can just let the fat drip right into your fire, which is there's mixed emotions about that in the barbecue world these days, but I swear that the flavor you get from letting that happen is incredible.
I agree.
It's something that improves the flavor dramatically, and that's why I quit using drip pans in my Kamados. I let the fat drip onto the hot surface because I like the results of that, and it makes a noticeable difference in the flavor. But is that Australian company?
Yeah, that's them.
Yeah,
That's them.
I've talked to them in the past, but I've never tried their stuff. I am so hooked, I guess, on Fireboard that I'm not really even willing to try a whole lot of anything else at this point. But maybe someday. There's a lot of cool stuff out there.
Yeah, I like Fireboard too. I really do. Plus it's USA. But talking about deflector plate, that gateway there, it has what they call a diffuser plate, which it's basically like a deflector plate, but it has various size holes all the way through. In other words, things can still drip off in there.
Yep,
but
I've seen that one.
Yeah, they claim that it kind of balances out the temperature from the top grate to the middle grate. I don't know how exactly, but that's the only reason I got it. Just
guys, if you're interested in something like this, I highly recommend these things. If you want to buy one, Gateway Drum Smokers is a great place to do it. And I think those guys, I haven't looked at their prices lately, but last time I looked, their entry level was about $900. Does that sound about right, Russ?
Yeah, that's about what that costs. And then, like I said, I bought all the extra stuff, and I got somewhere between 11 and 1200 in it.
But it's
but they're new. They're new. They build them drums. They don't have the ripples in them like drums you go buy. These are
mine's got the ripples in it. Mine's not a smooth side. Yeah, but these and they got a nice paint coat on them, and they're these guys are 22-inch diameter grills, so they're the same size as the Weber kettles. And you can actually use the Weber when I get ready to buy a new grill grate to go in the one I'm building. I'll probably buy a Weber kettle grill grate to use on the top level. I've got a custom fabricated one with my Man Cave Mills Biohazard logo in it. I think still out here in my shed from the last one that I had. I had it made by a company that custom fabs those things. I'll probably put that back into use as well. But these things are fun to cook on, and they're easy to dial in, and you don't have to have a temperature control system to run these. You just set the vents just like you would on a Kamado. And these things, in my opinion, are far more stable, and they're much easier to keep stable than a Kamado grill.
That and they're, I'm not going to say more efficient than a Kamado because the
They're
Kamado
not
is
more
pretty dark,
efficient.
but they are pretty efficient. You know, that
Yeah.
gateway's got it has a really big charcoal basket,
Hmm.
round, and I took that thing to an SCA cook-off that I was invited to right there close to the house, and I
Yeah.
filled it up with those B&B char logs, and
Uh-huh.
we got through with that cook. It was ribs is all we did on it, and man, I got home, you know, I snuffed the fire out, closed all the vents, and I had enough charcoal left in there for 2 more long cooks. I'm like, wow, you know,
Right.
which those char logs burn a long time anyway.
But man, you got a stable full of cookers, Russ. Have you got a separate lot beside your house where you keep all this stuff?
Well, actually, the ones that I'm using on the videos are right here at my son's house where we shoot videos now. I have
Yeah.
very little there at the house anymore. Just I got a Weber and I've got a Kamado, and that's it. I don't have everything else is over here.
What about this?
Yeah, that's a 60 inch. Well, the one I got is a 60-inch Santa Maria by Lone Star Grills.
Is this a different model than the one you got?
It's built just like it. Mine's just longer. Mine's 5 foot.
Okay.
That looks like the 48-inch there. Or that could be the 36. They got they got
I grabbed the picture off their website because I didn't find a good picture of the whole thing in the videos, so I just grabbed this. But
yeah.
tell us on a Santa Maria grill, what tell our audience here about Santa Maria style cooking.
Well, Santa Maria, that's very similar to like Argentine style barbecue and everything, but the Santa Maria itself was started in like Santa Maria, California, and
Right.
they're known for doing tri-tips and all that. Well,
Hmm.
I'm from South Mississippi, so I'll do anything and everything on it, you know.
Yeah.
And I like it because it's similar to that pits and spits as far as instead of raising the fire bed up, you're actually raising the grate up, you know,
Right.
and you have a lot of range on that thing. And
Hmm.
so I have done reverse sear steaks, get them up to the right height, and just bring it up to that internal I want, then lower that thing all the way down and just put a fantastic sear on them. And
Right.
I've done whole chickens, I've done ribs, I've done what else? So the one thing I didn't do, and I've always wanted to do on it, I just haven't had the time because I know it's going to take forever. Because you know, once you raise that rack, you don't have nothing to block the wind, and that's a whole hog. You could
Right.
do it on that. You'd have to have some real calm weather to do it, but you could do it. You know.
One of the things I talk about on this unit that my audience might not be so familiar with is over here on the right side of this grill, guys. What you've got here is a fireplace. Inside of here, there's some bars going across here. And what Russ probably does here is he gets a fire going with some logs and gets a rather healthy fire going there. And then the coals that fall off onto these fire bricks, you shovel these coals from here over into the base underneath this grill grate. Is that how you're using that, Russ?
Yeah, that's called a bracero, and that door with the handle on it, it'll let
Yeah.
down. And you unlatch on two sides, let that down, and you shovel coals in there as you need them, and
Yeah.
close her
So
back up.
you've got your coal factory over here on the right side. You could cook with charcoal under there, but
Oh yeah,
this you're cooking with wood, and cooking with the hot coals is giving you the same sort of benefit you get from cooking on an offset in the terms that you've got a smaller, hotter fire going uh,
oh yeah,
that's
yeah.
producing a lot of flavor. Have you ever put do they have an accessory for this thing where you can set a dome over the top of that grill and let stuff bathe in the smoke from the fire below?
Lone Star Grills doesn't make one, but you could get somebody to fabricate something like that. You know, now that's the I've had two models. The older model had the expanded metal grate. In my newer model, it has half-inch by half-inch bars, and
Hmm.
they come in panels 6 inches wide, one,
Right.
two, three, and that makes your whole grate. Well, you can pull three of them sections out, and there's a plancha that can fit in there for, you know, a griddle,
Oh
or
boy.
there's an Argentine grate that you can sit in there with the slant, the slope, and it's got a grease catcher you hook up on the rack right there. That's the newer design one. Came out about a year ago, a year and a half ago, maybe. But
So
they're fun to cook on.
This is another one of those things that I would consider to be absolutely entertaining to cook on, because there's no you could this is like a griller's version of a griddle. You can have multiple heat zones under there. You can have screaming hot, and not so hot, just by how you stack your coals in there.
What I've always said, if you want to do one steak, you can do one steak, because you can control how big your fire is. Or you can turn around and on mine, you can do 50 steaks.
Right.
I wouldn't want to, but I'm just saying you could,
That's crazy. Okay, before we stop talking about the grills, what have you got that we haven't covered here? Which Kamado do you have now?
Right now, I haven't. I doubt you'll see it anymore. But the long story, but anyway, it's the S&S Kamado.
Right.
And that's the only Kamado I have. And Derek's got one too. He's got his up for sale. But I don't plan on using that again. Mine's, matter of fact, I'm going to try to sell it while it's still in the kind of shape it is. I used to really be into Kamado cooking, like when I had that Kamado Joe Classic. Then I ended up with the Big Joe. And over the years, I've just morphed into other things,
Well, it's all about preference. You got to cook what makes you cook what you like cooking on.
Sure.
My audience obviously is mostly Kamado grills, and it's been that way ever since I connected with Kamado Joe. But
yeah,
I'm no longer connected with Kamado Joe, and I've kind of gotten diverse in what I'm cooking on as well. But I still at my heart and soul, I love cooking on Kamados. That's just I've gotten good at it, and I really haven't had the opportunity to branch out into too many other things other than the wood-fired oven. But besides the Kamado, what have you got laying around?
Oh, golly, let's see here. I've sold off a lot of grills I've had over the years, but I've got one coming. Matter of fact, it's supposed to be here tomorrow. You might have heard of it. I think they're from North Carolina. But the same guy that came out with a steak ager here a few years ago, he's got a new it's more of a portable type tailgating / type grill, but it's a 4-in-1. It's called Wildfire 4-in-1. And I'll be showing that on my channel real soon with a walk around. And that thing's, man, he come down here to Mobile at Jack's Drinkwater's house, and I showed up that day just so he could demonstrate the prototype on it.
Yeah.
And I was super impressed. I mean, you can make pizza on this thing while you're grilling. It's pretty cool.
I went to that guy's house one time when Steak Ager was a brand new thing. And in fact, I still have the unit that he gave me. It was a unit that sits inside of your refrigerator. It's not a standalone unit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I had that, and I ended up, when I got the little standalone unit, I don't know what I've done. I think I gave it to Derek. I don't know if he's ever used it or not.
We're going to talk about that shortly, because I captured that picture as well. So what I wanted to do here was talk about some of the stuff you're cooking. Talk to me about the redneck lasagna.
Oh, that was good, man. If I had to do that again, I would not use those no bake or no boil pasta noodles, because what happened on that is it's robbing moisture from where you need moisture, which would be the meat and everything.
Okay.
And to me, it wasn't dry, but it could have been a little bit more moist. And I think in the future, when I do that, I'm just going to boil regular lasagna noodles like I normally would, and then start building it up. But it was really good.
That makes sense, and I understand that philosophy. I want you to try something for me, Russ. Pasta is stupid easy to make from scratch.
I've done it. It's on my channel. I've done some last year, I think.
And pasta rollers aren't very expensive either. And you can roll out lasagna pasta that in itself, homemade lasagna pasta can be a no bake, and it's not going to rob it's soft as it's going in, and it's not going to rob that moisture. That's something you might want to give a try. But what's in this lasagna?
Let's see, what did I use? I know I used pulled chicken and I used pulled pork. And I've done that combination before on sandwiches, but I did chicken and pork. And God, I'm trying to remember. I know I used mozzarella, I used provolone cheese,
Mhm.
on different layers. And I used, I guess, I can't remember which sauce I used,
It looks
but it
delicious.
oh, it was good. It was really good. Everybody was having a fit over that. But my only gripe, like I said, was that them noodles. They were done and everything. It's just like it would have been better using the other ones.
Oh yeah. I had to pull this picture because beef ribs are my favorite thing ever, and
Oh
these
yeah.
look. What's your favorite technique for cooking the plate ribs?
Plate ribs, I do it pretty much like brisket, just low and slow. And those right there, if I'm not mistaken, that's the ones I had a sponsorship with Reynolds Wrap, and I had to use foil in the video, and I think I wrapped those.
Mhm.
And then you know, when they were done, probe tender, I removed them
Yeah,
from the foil just to finish them off that last little bit. I think I don't remember
right.
exactly,
I wrap
but
mine.
yeah,
I
I do
love
too. A
it.
lot of times,
Yeah.
man. I wrap a lot of times if, for no other reason, just to kind of hold that color,
Yeah.
where I want it, and a lot of times just to speed up the cook. I mean, that
I
stuff can
can't
take
I can't
forever.
do it with these. I can't do it with the dino bones, but when I'm working with the regular short ribs, sometimes I'll also finish them in a Dutch oven in a braise.
Yeah.
That's really good. But beef ribs are my favorite. Out of all the barbecue meats, beef ribs are my favorite thing. And I've said that like a million times. I'm trying to. Maybe I'll start a following one day. Maybe I'll get more people cook beef ribs. But
Maybe we should start a beef ribs group.
yeah, maybe so. Maybe just a group for beef ribs. Where did you get this? Do you remember where you got this particular set of ribs?
I'm beginning to, the more I look at this picture, I'm beginning to think that was ones I did last year. Yeah, it is, because I've got that.
2021.
Yeah, that was last year. I see that you can see my Santa Maria. I got that
Mhm.
cutting board laying on that Santa Maria grate. You can see the bars on that Santa
Right.
Maria. That was last year, and those came from Porter Road.
Okay. Because I've had those dino bones from Porter Road several times, and they finally have got that figured out. They've got that 3 bone rack that's perfect.
Yeah,
Every
that's
time
what.
I've cooked those, they've been fantastic. They
Hmm.
started out with a 4 bone rack, and they were having problems with uh, an excessive fat content in those. And I bought a rack of those one time, and I complained about them. And when they got they actually took them off their list when I complained about that. And then when they brought them back, the lady that I deal with at Porter Road called me, and she says, "We're going to send you another rack of those because we've got the situation fixed."
Okay,
So yeah, those
awesome.
I that is the only one item from Porter Road that I've ever had that I've been disappointed with was the very first rack of dino bones that I got from them. Their tri-tips. If you've had their tri-tips, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I don't remember much about it, but I have had it. I know I've gotten
But
them from numerous places, but
I've had great luck with most of the stuff I've gotten from Porter Road, and but these ribs, I thought you might have gotten these there.
yeah,
Uh,
I did, and I was thinking about that other rib cook I did, and I actually bought those ribs locally from a butcher here, the ones I
yeah,
did on the other video.
I'm going to admit something here. I did not know what boudin was until I saw you cook this stuff. Tell everybody what this is.
Well, that particular boudin comes from Best Stop out of Scott, Louisiana. In my opinion, that's some of the best there is. There's a few other places that I would call right there at the very top, and that's one of them. But yeah, I've got a kind of recent video last winter. I did my own video trying to do more of a copycat of what you're looking at right there, and I come pretty doggone close. Which I bought their seasoning. That was a big help, you know,
Hmm.
the Best Stop seasoning.
So
But yeah,
it's a
man,
sausage.
it is. It's a Cajun sausage, and be honest with you, it's really more like a rice dressing almost that's stuffed
Hmm.
into a hog casing, you know. But it's just got such good flavor. It's primarily real boudin. I mean, they make it now out of everything: turkey, chicken, crawfish, whatever. But real boudin comes from pork, and it
Yeah.
kind of come out of these butcheries they used to do. families would all get together to do a hog slaughter, and they would use everything they could of that pig, everything but the squeal. And that's kind of
I
how.
should have done a close up. I should have done a close up on the ingredients list here. Pork is the #1 ingredient. Then it's got water, cooked white rice, pork liver, yellow onion, green onion, salt, green bell pepper, MSG,
Yeah.
and then we come into some of the lesser ingredients. It's got some citric acid, garlic powder, pepper, onion powder, spices, cayenne pepper. Does this stuff have any spice, any heat level to it, Russ?
Oh yeah, their seasoning that they add in that has got cayenne in it. It's
But
it's
does
it's it's spicy. It's hot, but it's not going. You can tolerate it. You know what I'm saying? It's
right?
not bad. It's just really good.
Yeah, the cayenne's way down there on the ingredients list.
Yeah.
And but I think my next picture here, I put these two together. Tell me what I'm looking at here. Boudin stuffed chicken breast with bourbon brown butter grits.
Yeah, if I remember right, I forget my own videos sometime, but I did grits and I stuffed that. I guess that's chicken breast,
It
and
is.
uh, and I stuffed it with that same boudin you just showed,
Man,
and
that
that's
looks
about
delicious.
oh, it was.
And
I
speaking
just
of grits, this brings back a memory. I remember one of the first things you did when you got your first Kamado Joe was shrimp and grits.
oh yeah,
And
I remember.
guys, Russ boiled the water and cooked his grits on the Kamado Joe.
I sure did. My point I
So,
was driving home way back then was, man, this thing is all you need. You don't. It could be your stove, it can be your oven, it can
mm,
be your grill, it can be your smoker, and it really can. You know?
Yep.
yeah.
I
But
made jambalaya on mine.
this looks
Yeah.
amazing. This I've never considered serving chicken over grits, and I'll serve a lot of things over grits, including beef ribs. And when I serve something like that over grits, I take the pan drippings or what's in the foil during my foiled section or the braising liquid that I've braised it in and make a pan gravy out of that and pour it over the grits and over the meat. That it comes out incredible. I brought this picture in here. This is a video Russ did on how to smoke cream cheese. And I didn't remember the guy's name that was in this video, Russ. Do you remember who that was?
Yeah, that's my son Derek. He's the one
Derek
that
did this
actually,
video.
yeah, he did that video. That was something he was wanting to do, and to me, it was too trendy. I don't like doing following trends too much on YouTube. It was real trendy at the time,
Yeah.
and I said, "You can do it. I don't want to do it." But he
Well,
caught it. He caught it too late. The people that did that early on, they
uh,
got millions of views on it.
right.
I said,
And well, the reason I grabbed this one's because I was talking to my audience last week about some things they would like to see. And since football season's in, we were talking about game day stuff. And this subject came up. I've done a video on this in the past, but I'm going to do another one this coming week. So that's
"It's
why
good
I
stuff."
decided I don't have a smoked cheese. I don't have a smoked cream cheese video on the Man Cave Meals channel. The smoked cream cheese video I did was on the Atlanta Grill Company channel, and I'm gonna do one of my own, and I'm gonna make a sweet hot glaze to go on it. A sweet hot. I bought some. Uh, it's pineapple passion fruit jelly, and I'm going
Mm.
to cook that. I'm going to add a splash or three of bourbon to that, and I'm going to put some very finely diced habanero pepper in it. My habanero plant out here right now has got 8 or 9 peppers on it that are ready to come off. So I'm going to make some of that to go on there. But this is going to be coming up here at the Man Cave. Uh, I saved this picture. We were talking briefly about the dry age. You've got the one called the steak ager.
Yeah.
Okay, last year. I bought the steak locker, which is a similar product, and I've had some amazing results from beef and pork actually that I've dry aged in this thing. What have you dry aged in yours?
I feel bad because I've only done one thing since I've had that other and keep my beer cold in it, and that
Yeah,
is that ribeye you see right there in that picture. And he sent me the humidifier for it, and I do sausage on my channel
right.
nowadays, and anyway, I want to do like some dry cured sausage videos, and I need that humidifier. I just haven't got around to doing it yet, but I
Right.
plan on it. It's there at the house. You know, my biggest thing is I try to knock these videos out, and when you're dealing with something like that video there, I think I went 45 days on that ribeye. Well, you got to shoot part of the video
Yep.
now, and then it's
This was
45
from
days. You know,
This is from the part one picture, yeah. And
yeah,
it's true, it takes a while. And the reason I grabbed this one is because 40 to 45 days, I have discovered is my sweet spot. That's where I like it. I've done
yeah,
stuff at 30 and I've done stuff at 60 and beyond 60. And the funk level that comes in on the beef when I go to 60 days, and it's just not something I really like. But the 40 to 45 days is a sweet spot for me, and that's probably where I'm going to stay when it comes to beef. And Russ, do you have a Publix near you?
I don't. Derek does here in Mobile, you know, which I'm 45 minutes from my house to
Well,
here, but there are
keep
here.
keep keep this in mind. Publix puts whole bone-in ribeyes on sale for $6.99 a pound around Christmas and around Easter.
Ah,
And
okay.
the last dry age the last the ribeye that I did, they don't now Publix won't put out the whole thing. They put it out in pieces. But if you go ask the guy at the counter and tell him you want a whole one, he'll cut you a whole one. And
Okay.
or if you don't have to do a whole one, but at $6.99 a pound, it's kind of hard not to.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
But that's the guys that you just have to ask for. I've gotten a lot of great results by asking the guys at the meat counter at Publix when I want something. They don't sell the whole beef rib racks. You know, they sell beef short ribs, but they slice them up into little short pieces or slice
Yeah.
them into the Korean style slices. But they have the whole 4-bone racks if you ask for them. They will typically make you buy the 2-rack package, which is still not that bad. It's the two racks together come up to about 8 to 9 pounds usually, and there's never a reason not to have an extra rack of those in your freezer. But
No, I
they'll
agree.
they have that if you ask them for it, and they also have pork belly. They have whole pork belly, and they've recently started getting its skin on. If you're interested in that,
Okay.
Southern shrimp and grits.
Yeah, that's trying to prove that I can do things, you know. But I actually use my Santa Maria as a cast iron platform, you know, because it has the walls as a windbreak.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that on a Santa Maria, but I actually use cast iron and other pots and stuff like that to pull that cook off. And
What kind of sauce do you have there?
oh God, I'm trying to remember, John. That's been a couple of years ago.
It's been a
I'd
while.
have to
I
go.
know, guys.
Yeah, I'd have.
I didn't prepare Russ for anything I was going to ask him today.
I'll tell you one thing. What I do remember is how tasty it was, but as far as the breakdown on the recipe, I just drew a blank. I cannot remember, but I do know that it was Jimmy Red grits that I used,
Mhm.
made from Jimmy Red corn. I ordered them specifically for that video,
Right.
and anything beyond that, I really don't recall too much.
This video was a really impressive video. If you watch the whole thing, state competition association style cooking on a ribeye. What did you
Yeah,
learn from this guy,
that's Marcio.
Marcio?
Yeah, Borgian. He lives over in Long Beach, Mississippi, not too awful far from me, and I learned that those people go through a lot of effort to get the perfect steak. I mean, you're looking at, you know, the twine that's holding it from coming apart. He's got it
Mhm.
skewered to stop it from doing this number right here. And
Right.
it's just, they trim it to, and he told me that he really didn't do this as in as much detail as what he normally would have if he was at a real SCA. But matter of fact, he's wanting to reshoot that video. He said, this time I'm telling everything. So obviously he didn't tell me everything on that one, you know, but he
Yeah.
wants to tell it. he had a lot of people get on. He said, "Man, you giving away all of our secrets." You know, like that. He said, "I ain't giving away all the secrets, but I will." He don't
Well,
care.
I figure this is a lot. One of the things that Myron Mixon keeps saying, and I've heard him say it a million times, he says, I can give you my recipes, I can give you my techniques, and I'm
Yep.
still going to beat you in the competition because I can't give you my experience.
That's
And
right.
I'm figuring this is the same way.
Yeah, it would be, man. That's just like, we all thought or all think our mothers made the best this and the best that. Like my mom made a really good gumbo, Now, can I make one as good as her? Nowadays, it's probably different, but it's not going to be just like hers. But
Right.
if she was winning awards on it, and I doubt I could do exactly what she done. She
That
puts
Santa
that.
Maria pit would be a great pit for doing this style of cook.
Oh yeah, that pits and spits would be too. But I was
Yeah.
thinking that little pit that I'm getting, that little 4-1, man, that's perfect for SCA events where you just having to do a couple of steaks,
Mhm.
because you got that grate that lets up and down to where you can slide it up, nowhere sear
Well,
it, do a front sear, and then raise it up and finish it off till you get that internal where you want it.
I'm actually surprised, Russ, that you don't have a PK grill in your stable somewhere.
Yeah, I talked to them people one time, and that one guy just plumb out made me mad. And I'm like, you couldn't pay
Yeah.
me to use one of your grills now, man.
Well, yeah, they're like that. I had to buy the stuff I've got, so
Yeah,
I bought a. I currently have one of their new Aaron Franklin models, and I'm really I really like that grill, and I've got the PK Go, the portable one, and I really like it also. And I bought both of those. So I didn't get anything from PK. I don't think they give a whole lot away unless you're. I don't know who they might give stuff to. I don't know anybody that they've given anything to.
yeah.
So
I don't need it, no way. But I do have electric smoker that's designed to smoke sausage and everything, and it's called a PK 100. I don't know
right,
where that PK, but it's not associated with the PK you're referring to at all.
yeah.
PS Seasoning Pro Smoker makes that little smoker.
This is another thing you do, Russ, that just fascinates me to no end is these crawdad cooks. Tell me about this process. Crawdads are something I'm not even sure I can buy them around here. I don't know why, but it's not a thing where I live. So you buy
Yeah,
these things live, right?
yeah,
Mud
yeah,
bugs.
yeah. They're regional. All those come out of Louisiana, which is from where I live. I'm about 45 minutes to the Louisiana line, so there's a
Mm.
lot of places right in my area that have them trucked in every day. Live and these big sacks, and they sell a lot of them, even in Mississippi. And it's just something I grew up around. We've been boiling crawfish and eating boiled crawfish all my life, and so
So
naturally, you know,
what do you buy 20 pounds of them at a time?
most sacks range somewhere between 33 and 35
Uh huh.
pounds. And it depends if you're having guests over, whatever, you might want to consider 2 bags because they don't last long, man. They disappear in a hurry. And matter of fact,
So
Jeff Rice was here in February of this year, and that was my last crawfish boil video I'd done. And we were right here, matter of fact, right on the backside of this wall outside. And it
mm,
was real early for crawfish, and man, I paid a lot of money for them crawfish. But it was the only time that he can come down here. But if I could have waited to April, I could have got them for like 79 cents a pound. I paid like 380 something a pound for those things.
wow.
Yeah,
So
and I had
once you get this
70 pounds.
boil going, what goes in the boil with the crawfish?
Well, once you get your water in, I usually get it up to a boil. I like that water boiling when I start adding my seasonings, but I use a powdered crab boil. And actually, like on some bowls, there's two different types that I like. I'll mix and match. I've kind of learned over the years what pairs well with the other one. I'll also
Hmm.
use a liquid crab ball boil concentrate. I'll throw lemons in it, garlic, onions, and a lot of times I'll puree the celery and the onions, and that way they're not in the water. It just gives you the flavor without
Right.
having all that in there. And I throw a bottle of hot sauce in it.
Hmm.
That pot that you're looking at right there, I think that's the right pot. That pot holds 20 gallons of water.
Yeah, I think
And
this is that pot from that rocket. Is that the rocket pot?
yeah, that's one of my rocket pots. Yeah. I don't know
Okay.
if that might be the 120 quart. If so, that's 15 gallons of water, which I usually put about 16, a little over halfway full, and then I'll start building
Yeah.
it from there.
Do you throw other food items in there that you're gonna? So do you put corn
Oh yeah,
or
we put corn. You can put
potatoes?
yeah, I put them little button mushrooms. They really suck up that flavor. Put
Right.
potatoes in there, corn. I've seen people put all kind of things: pineapple,
Hmm.
asparagus, you name it, man. Really, anything you want to put in there. We've actually put a whole turkey in a boil like that one time. You take and stab him
Wow.
all over to where all that can get inside of him. You sit there and just boil that turkey until he's done, and it
I
tastes
think I need
like,
to find out when you're doing this again, and I need to crash your party.
yeah, man. Heck yeah, come on down.
I've never been to a crawdad boil before,
Well, I'll tell you
and
now, I call myself a barbecue channel, but my boil videos do better than anything I've ever done on YouTube. They just always have.
I saw Troy do this one time, and I swear I think the boil that Troy did would have lit me on fire.
It seems like a lot sometimes, but those crawfish are hard to penetrate. And you'll get people say, "Oh, that's way too spicy. That's too much." I'm like, well, first off, you're looking at 20 gallons of water. It requires a lot. And if you want crawfish with good flavor, trust me, use that much. It's not going to blow your head off. I can make them blow your head off, but then you're going to have to add a lot of cayenne in there if you want it really hot,
Yep.
you know.
This is something I this video somehow in your output, and this is a barbecue stuffed baked potato. What's it? What? You
Yeah,
remember what you put in that?
I think it had pulled pork, and it looks like sour cream on there.
Yep.
Yeah, man, that
Jalapeno
video was
peppers.
probably, yeah, that video was probably 5 years old, every
Yep.
bit of.
Man, it looks good, guys. Russ is not short on ideas when it comes to what he wants to do when he's firing his grills up. What's in the last 6 months, Russ? What's the favorite thing you've cooked on your channel?
Oh man, I do so much different things. Every week I try to do something different. I tell you what was a lot of fun. I knew it wasn't gonna get a lot of views, but I just did a pizza burger that was based on a place that I used to go to in the town I was born or raised up in, Pascagoula, Mississippi, and a place called Tony's Pizza used to make these and sell them. And I
Yeah,
actually got to talk to a previous owner of Aunt Nita's, and Aunt Nita's bought that recipe from Tony's when Tony's went out of business, and they're still creating them right now this day, and that's it right there. And
yeah.
but I just enjoyed that video, and man, they're really good too. But I wanted to duplicate that exactly the way they do it now, and I pretty much nailed it. She looked at it and said, "Oh yeah, you're spot on, everything you did." But it's very simple, really. The only thing I didn't know for sure is like, do they use a canned marinara like a lot of restaurants do, or do they make their own? So it was like a mess right there. But this is what she said: do you drag that
It don't
cheese
look
off
like a
on the
mess to
griddle?
me.
Oh, it was so good.
I'd be face
But
first into that.
yeah, man. But that was a fun video. But I don't know, man. I can't keep up. A lot of times, if I want to remake something, I have to go watch my own video just to remember how I did it because I
I'm
research
the
this
same way,
stuff.
Russ. That's my cookbook is when I need to figure something out, I
Yeah,
have to go back to videos sometime. Like I did a video that I'm posting tomorrow that's a pretzel and a beer cheese video, and I made modifications to a recipe I did 5 years ago in a video, and I had to go back to that video to figure
yeah.
out what ratios of what I used when I made those pretzels because I haven't done it in so long.
I do it
But
all the
man,
time. I go ahead.
you and I both have a vast library of video content to refer
Oh yeah,
to.
yeah. 10 years worth, man. That's
Hmm.
that's a lot. You were like one of the first channels I ever stumbled across. I'm like, man, Cave Mills. So I started watching you. Then before long, I discovered Greg Mervich, you know, and
Yeah.
then all that little game back then. I just kind of got to
Alan
watching
Johnson.
everybody. Alan Johnson,
And,
yeah, Grilling Network.
What's the guy? I think I'm getting early onset dementia because I'm forgetting some of these names. What was the guy's name out in the Midwest that he was Smoky something or not?
Smoky Goodness.
Yeah.
Dan
What happened to
Dan
him? Is he
Robertson.
still making video?
He kind of quit for a long time, or just did one every now and then, and
Yeah.
he's kind of picked it up a little bit. But yeah, he still makes content, just like
I'll have to go back
when he
and
was.
check on him. But I was
Yeah,
following Troy, you know, when I found Troy, and it's been a long time, and it's been fun. I've learned a lot. Just YouTube is such an amazing. It's like my Wikipedia. When I want to find something or learn how to do something, YouTube's where I go to do it.
oh, absolutely.
Jeff and I spend a lot of time making content. Jeff's got the same pellet grill. He's got this Myron Mixon bark. And during the pandemic, Jeff and I spent a bunch of time during lockdown learning how to make breads and stuff that we wanted to do some indoor cooking. So
There you go.
yeah, but man, Russ, I really appreciate you coming on with us. I don't want to hold you up. We've been going a little over an hour here. I know time is precious. What are you cooking this weekend?
Tomorrow I've got to do that cook. That low and slow chuck roast I was telling about. Just simple cook, but they mainly just want me to show that you can do a low and slow on this grill. And then next week I'm doing something I want to do, and there again I had to go back to my older video to remember how to do it exactly. But anyway, I'm doing a little bit different. I've done this video before, but I got a bunch of hatch chilies that I bought locally that come out of New Mexico. And I roasted them and I vacuum packed them. So I want to do another hatch chili cheeseburger. Simple video. And but instead of putting like melt cheese and melt it, I'm wanting to make like a queso, you know, and have the hatch chilies down in that cheese, and just I want the patty about that thick, and I want it smoked. I want that red color, just a bunch of meat. Yeah,
there's a lot to say for a smoked burger. I've done a lot of those myself. There's more to burgers than putting a sear on them or making a smash burger.
I agree.
That half pound patty that's red because it's been smoked is amazing.
Yeah, it is.
And in fact, I think the first time I did one of those, I was following a Myron Mixon technique there also that had a good bit of ranch dressing mixed into that ground beef. So, yeah,
wow,
it's pretty good. So. All right. Well, I think we're gonna wrap things up. Let me bring Tanya. We bring Tanya back in before we shut down because she's been up there running everything in the background. Russ, this is my wife Tanya, and that's my sous chef Lily. Lily's my sous chef. She's showing Tanya her butt. She likes to do that.
And Hemi's over here in the chair. So if you ever wonder what the cats are, John, Paul had a question right quick about St. Louis ribs. Would you mind answering that before we hop off? Or Russ or Jeff or anybody? Just help Paul out here.
Paul, ribs are just like pork butts or brisket. You've got to cook them. You can cook them at whatever temperature you like, but you're looking for that same level of tenderness. You got to know when the tenderness you're going to want to. I like to use the toothpick test rather than the bend test. And ribs, when you're looking at the temperature, the meat temperature on ribs, they will get up to 200 degrees quite a while before they hit that perfect level of tenderness. Russ, have you got some comments on that?
Yeah, I was just gonna say they're done when they're done. You know, when they're probe tender or tender to your liking, you know, that's something I try to tell people. You can't cook by. I mean, you can give somebody if they're wanting to know about how long, but you never cook by really not that kind of cooking way. You don't cook by time, and you don't really cook by temperature. Temperature is very important in some cooks, like poultry, and if you want to nail a steak or something like that. But if you're doing low and slow barbecue, like brisket or pulled pork or ribs, it's done when it's done.
Jeff, what's your thought on Chef Eric's 300 degree 3 hour technique? Jeff, your mic's off.
Yeah, I got it. I like that Myron mixing doing it at the 300, like we did those ribs from extra meaty ones from Walmart.
Right.
Those things come out great.
He's cooking St. Louis ribs, so he's going to be cooking pork
Yeah.
spares rather than baby backs. So it's going to be about the same. Russ, Jeff, and I have discovered Walmart baby back ribs are amazing. They've got
The
these
extra meaty.
they've got these baby back ribs, the extra meaty ones. And if you look through the case, when you find a rack that weighs 5 pounds or more, buy that because they're amazing.
Okay.
They're absolutely off the hook. And I've quit buying baby back ribs. I don't like to boast that I buy meat from Walmart, but I do buy those from Walmart.
I tell you what, John, I got blistered when I posted that in the Pellet Grill Addicts about the Walmart ribs. Oh man, I got blistered.
Well, something else I'm going to do, Jeff. Next time I can make myself drive out to the eastern part of the state and visit Heritage Farms, I'm going to get one of their Cheshire pork butts because those pork butts are off the hook. They're way better than anything else. Russ, have you cooked Cheshire pork before?
I have. It's been a long time. I've also done the Berkshire pork before too. I've had Heritage Hog on a few occasions.
Mm-hmm. It's worth the difference in my opinion.
Oh man, yeah.
It's pricey, but it's those pork butts they sell at Heritage Farms. I think are I don't know. They're $30 or $35 a piece, and they're 8 or 9 pounds on average. So they're more expensive than a typical butt, but they're still not that expensive in the greater scheme of things. So maybe Tanya and I can get back down to Heritage Farm sometime this fall. So, all right, we're going to wrap things up, guys. Russ, I appreciate you coming on with us. I'll keep an eye out for that video. I'm interested in seeing what the new grill looks like. So that'll be out sometime in the next couple of weeks.
That should be a week after next. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that sounds good, guys. Russ, I appreciate it, and everybody have a good weekend. And I will see you back here next Thursday night.